This is an open letter to the Sane Society. Uh, One of my favorite movies is PAX. That Mr. Kevin Spacey does a really great job in it. I'm sure the directors and photographers and all of that they've done a great job. So it's a great movie. I recommend it. PAX. Here's the thing. Whether Mr. Spacey is gay or has some out of normal sexual tendencies, he may or he may not. I don't know. But who doesn't in Hollywood? Let's be frank. Hollywood is in the business of skin business, as in hopefully live skin business. There are a lot of skin. A lot of people can be stars. Acting is, let's be frank, acting is not, a science. It's something that's, it's very difficult. Let's be frank. I mean, women are acting all the time. Women are born actors. Let's be frank. I mean, we at the young age we understand that if we act hungry, we get fed. Or if we act as a victim, we will be rescued. Although we may be the punisher. In case of Israel is the punisher, but they're passing a case as a victim of 75 years ago, supposedly. But the point is this, that Hollywood is in the business of skin. They can make a star out of anyone. You look at the stars that are already stars, very few of them are very normal. And let's be frank, if you're in the skin business, if you're bisexual, it's probably an advantage. You can, provide your services no matter what is the sex of the studio head. Whoever is the studio head, whatever sex he or she prefers, whatever kind of sex they prefer, if you're into it, you have a better chance of, your skin being chosen as an actor and being paid so much money to make pretend. What, women do as natural to the end of their life. I mean, let's put it this way: women put out makeup. What is that? That is, let's pretend that I'm beautiful. Women act throughout their life. At one point, men mature and stop acting, and they start acting their age. But women apparently get a pass on that. They can act immature all their life. It's sort of, I'm gonna put the makeup on and make pretend that I am young and beautiful, although I'm 75. Isn't the women are born pretentious. They're born in the business of let's make pretend, and they die in the business of make pretend. With a lot of makeup, I can pretend that I'm young, and everybody else has to accept that. Salute. And when you go down that road, it's not no farther down, not much farther down. You end up with where men say we want to also put on makeup and wig and pretend we are women. So that's the way you're going. So my point is this: acting comes to half of your population just right off the bat, and they continue acting all throughout their life. So acting is not that difficult of a task, especially if you work at it as hard as Mr. Spacey has worked at it, you get better than average return. But the point is this, that if you're bisexual, you have an advantage in Hollywood because, you know, you're one in a million. You may be chosen, you may not be chosen. Depends on how big a hard on does the studio head get when he sees you, every time he sees you. Doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. If he gets a hard on, you will get job and you will become a star. If he doesn't get a hard on when he sees you, doesn't matter the sexuality. If they don't get a studio head doesn't get a hard on when he sees you, you never become a star. And when many studio heads don't get a hard on when they see you, you don't get no business in Hollywood. So whether if you have talent, you're shunned. Mr. John Stewart was just shown the door by Apple. Apple got into entertainment business, and we saw exactly what has been happening in Hollywood since way before Apple. Since way before Apple in Hollywood, this was the system. You go in for one season, and although you're providing a good value for money, the wealthy people who own those corporations, such as Apple, such as Warren Brothers, such as Merrimack, such as many of these which have come and then, merged to form bigger Hollywood corporations. Those studio heads have to be happy with the stars that they have. Yes, money is important, but not if you kill the guy's hard on every time you pass by him. For whatever reason, he just doesn't feel you. You don't get any job. Many of them don't feel you. You don't get any job, period. Any job that makes you a star. And people who want to be in front of camera want to be stars. Mostly. I mean, except the anonymous ones, of course. But those who go in the front of camera with their own name, or even they have to change their name in order to fit the paradigm, the matrix, to fit better in the matrix. I mean, you come and say that why a lot of these Jewish actors have chosen Christian names or chosen names that doesn't scream Jewish, is because the matrix is Baptist. The matrix is of this order, and then if they don't change their name, it would scream right off the bat that they may not fit in our matrix. So you change your name, come on, Indians, Pakistanis, in wherever they go in Northern Hemisphere, they try to use bleach creams to bleach out some of the pigmentation so they can fit in better. Change your name, bleach your skin, just because it's a white man's world. It's not a man's world, it's the white man's world. When it's the white man's world, your beauty queen have to follow some kind of white standards, such as the beauty queen, the Japanese beauty queen who turned out to be the only Ukrainian who has been living in Japan for some years, because that white Anglo-Saxon standard of beauty has been forced down the throat of the whole fucking planet. So the Japanese consider beauty anything that is closer to a German standard of beauty, or the Norwegian standard of beauty. You see where I'm going with this? So the whole idea is, you got money, you got power, you choose who you can make a star. I think Kevin Spacey didn't have that much of a different story than most people in Hollywood. A little on this side, a little on that side, I'm kind of sure. maybe nothing on no side. But the point is this, which came in the court, that he apparently was exonerated of the whole fucking thing. But my point is this: it was a distraction. They want to kill the character of that he was playing in House of Cards. They needed him off the air. I think House of Cards killed Kevin Spacey's character. Was the reason behind the killing of Kevin Spacey's character. It was too close to the bone. I like to watch House of Cards, but every time I turned the fucking thing on to watch it, it was with with grunge, with grudge, begrudgingly. I had to watch House of Cards because it was it was nauseating. The perverse depravity of it, the perverseness of it, and apparently, it was so close to the bone. That means so close to the truth that his character, his show had to end. His character had to be run off the air. So, I mean, I'm sure these Hollywood people keep your baggage, and your baggage will only show up if you're doing a lot of hurt to a lot of very rich and influential people. If you start doing that, suddenly the baggage comes up. The baggage, everybody has baggage. Who the fuck doesn't have baggage? Are you kidding me? And especially the higher you want to go in stardom or in politics or in whatever, you have to have more baggages. It's just it's the nature of the beast. The higher you want to go, the more people you have to step on. The more people you have to step on creates more baggages. So then it becomes, job of a hit squad to go around cleaning up your packages. The whole business with the Clintons, that is the conspiracy theory, is that Clintons have their own hit squad, comes from this. That, yeah, of course, if you're trying to reach the top, you have to step on a lot of people. Stepping on a lot of people creates a lot of baggages. In order to clear your baggages, to clean out your baggages, those baggages, sometimes have to be cleaned in a surgical manner, by accident. Literally, because the House of Cards was cutting so close to the bone, suddenly the baggages of Mr. Spacey comes out. Whether they were real baggages or metaphorical baggages, whether it was just a pass or it was you can call it pass or you can call it an assault. I guess it's up to the woman or people to try to interpret whether it was a pass or it was an assault. It's a very thin line. In 1970s they called it a pass. In the 80s they called it a pass. Now they call it assault. The way we're going in Northern Hemisphere in general, it's going the way of Japan. That people literally, if they touch, they stand for 5 minutes and bow at each other that they touched each other. It's that, that's the way, when civilizations get old, that's the way they go. In order to prevent chaos, when you squeeze the society together, in order to prevent chaos, as the case has become in San Francisco, apparently, when the system becomes chaos, suddenly you come down with martial law. If you want to bring back order, you have to some kind of martial law. You can't fucking get out of your house. We're getting too much disorderly here. We need to clean up this motherfucker. So, what I'm trying to say is that um, Mr. Kevin Spacey, I think, uh, was hitting too close to the bone. Was hitting too close to the bone with the House of Cards. And I have a feeling every one of those episodes, you know, every one of those episodes in House of Cards had really happened in a place, in a time with different names. But I have a feeling all of it wasn't science fiction, it wasn't fiction, it was fact. It's just segmented, dissociated facts that, they didn't write the name of the people who were involved. They enacted what has happened at some point in Washington, D.C. to some individuals involved. They enacted it, and it hurt a lot of politicians because it was too close to the bone, and they took it off the air. They wanted off the air. They wanted to kill the fucking star. Metaphorically. Kill the character. Bring out the baggages of these people. Whoever they don't like, they bring out baggages. Whoever they don't like, they bring out baggages. They have baggages on everyone. Are you fucking kidding me? Everybody has baggage. Who doesn't? And the higher you want to go, the more baggage of people you need to step on to go higher. And I guess, and you need the hit squad to take care of your baggages for you. And he was literally bringing that to screen, and they couldn't stand it. Seriously? Now he's gay, this, that. What he's done, it's Hollywood. It's in the business of making stars. And, I'm not saying that he does, but if anybody who wants to be a star in Hollywood, if they bend both ways, they can open more doors. Is that a question for anyone? Is there a question that if you bend both ways, you can open more doors? I have a few friends. So it's sort of like that, that's clearly the case that I've experienced. I've seen that, if you bend both ways, in general, in the hedonistic, capitalistic, free stick system that you got going, if you bend both ways, you can reach higher. Just like, sort of like, just like politics is like that. Every these extracurricular activities, social activity that human beings participate in, if you bend both ways, if you're more flexible, the old joke about, the difference between a politician and a lady, it goes back to, if a politician says no, it says yes, he means maybe. If he says maybe, he means no. And if he says no, he's no politician. And, the rest of it, if a lady says no, she means maybe. If she says maybe, she means yes. If she says yes, she's no lady. Anyway, my point is this: the politician cannot say no. A star cannot say, if he wants to be a star, cannot say no. Anybody trying to reach a higher place, if they're really enthusiastic about reaching the higher higher grade in their chosen profession, if they're in their chosen career, if they bend both ways, they it opens more doors. There's this is not a riddle. This is clear for everyone. So what if he has had some murky past? Again, who hasn't in Hollywood, in politics, especially continuous politics of the 4,000 of the 4,000 year old kind of politics in Egypt. The longer it gets, the more the extension of dynasty, or the longer it lasts, the more deprived it becomes. Apparently, this is the order of things. We have had cases of old dynasties of a couple of hundred years that they actually all over the world that incest became had become okay. This happened in England. The whole idea behind breaking with the Catholic Church or with the whatever church was because one of the kings decided that he wanted a divorce and he wants to marry this and marry that, and the fucking church says no. So fuck the church. I'm going to start my own church. It's called Church of George. No, sorry, it's called Church of England. People in England, my subjects, have to follow this church from tomorrow morning, or I cut their fucking head off. Salute. Salute to the attached heads. Anyway, my point is this. I mean, dynasties, forms of government that continue for a long time on this planet, seems to become more deprived. Whether they're what you call democracy, which, so you start handing down the talisman of the leadership from father to son. They both named Bush. I like Bush. I sleep next to Bush every night. I vote Bush. So my point is this. It seems the depravity goes with how old the situation is. Fresh blood, like the fresh blood of the founding fathers, none of whom apparently were politicians before starting a country for themselves, founding father of Uncle Sam's land. They started the company, and over time the company called United States, and over time the country became a little depraved. And then when actors one of these actors brought the depravity, the sleaziness, the oof, the whole show seemed orgasmic. Everybody had a hard on, men and women, and that's apparently seems to be the way in the halls of power after so many years. It's like every civilization that continues in the same dynasty with the same handed down format of government from father to son, in case of your husband to wife, in case of Clintons and Bushes, and yeah. Before Trump was being elected, there were people wearing t-shirts saying that yeah, Trump this for 8 years, and then Mrs. Trump another 8 years. That's the thing. You think the founding fathers would have been screaming their heads off? What are you talking about? Are you talking about the dynasty? We just broke off from one mother. Anyway, you're halfway there, and it might people who may may think they're living in a democracy or meritocracy. Dude, you're halfway there to dynasty. You had a father and son duo, and then a husband and wife duo that didn't happen but was very close to happening, that therefore suddenly Trump got elected because they were trying to do a husband wife duo. Father son, husband wife. It doesn't sound like meritocracy to you? Does that sound like meritocracy to you? Does that sound like sanity? Does that sound like dynasty? Yes, it does. It's just you're almost there. It just depends on this last step. Which family takes the reign of power from which family from which dynasty, or whose dynasty they're in the pocket of, and they come up with exactly what you're looking for, a dynasty. That's then in 100 or maybe 200 years, you're going to start having insects in the upper level of your dynasty. You're halfway there too. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with religion. This depravity of when your dynasty gets prolonged. This depravity is apparently goes with being prolonged, and it doesn't matter what you call your system, political system of rule that you have. Whoever is ruling you in whatever system they're ruling you, continuation of which along the same lines apparently ends in depravity without miss. This happened in Persia too, the way we know it, that after many hundreds of years of one dynasty, there was kingdoms there, many hundreds of years of one dynasty, and suddenly there's a revolution and somebody else takes over, and at the beginning it's all good and dandy and everybody's trying to play the game logically, and as it progresses, generation after generation, the kings become more deprived and more obsessed with themselves. I mean, the whole idea of people blowing smoke up your ass, generation after generation, you're going to not fare well. If for generation after generation, everybody around you blows, has to by law, they have to blow hot air up your ass. Of course, you're going to be a little, you know, be depraved. It's just, because you get hot blown up your ass, not because of a merit, but because you are the son of so and so, and or the daughter of so and so, and the whole system becomes more depraved and more depraved, and because the people who are treated all their life as if they are better than who they really are, they're treated as in a way that it seems they are better than who they really are, because their last name seems to ring a bell. Yeah, of course, incest will, in a couple of hundred years, you will have in the same system. Apparently, this is a human thing. It has happened in England, it has happened in France, it has happened in the Middle East, in the Arab kingdoms, in the Persian kingdoms, in the Indian kingdoms, in the Chinese kingdom. When anything over 200, apparently to over 200 years, 250 years, you start going sideways and backwards, because people who get into position of power are not really, or have had hot air blown up their ass for a very long time, so they're not really in touch with anybody, anything. So the system, the people become a little deprived. And if the political system has created stability and some depravity has sneaked into the political system. That stability that the political system has created creates a lot of depravity in other parts of the organism, such as entertainment in Hollywood, such as Wall Street. I mean, the depravity in Wall Street is well known. It was it was appreciated by Hollywood. Fuck, they came up with greed is good slogan for Hollywood. From Hollywood, it was a love note from Hollywood to Wall Street was Gordon Gekko. That was a gift wrap. So, Michael Douglas has never had any issues with regards with his good name. Michael Douglas has had gift wrapped, Wall Street. Gordon Gekko has gift wrapped it and handed to the Wall Street. A love note. So I guess never in his life, and he has never, really brought out the grunge in Washington D.C. But few who do, especially on the serious, with this much notoriety, they hate him, so they try to run him out. They killed his character. If you're interested in that kind of entertainment, there is two British series that I'm not sure why we have to call the fucking place Great Britain. No, it's fucking British. That's it. The fucking British. No Great Britain. Why? Who declared they're great? Shitty little island in the middle of Atlantic Ocean and suddenly it's great? Why? My penis is great too. If you just proclaim yourself great, doesn't mean you're great. Anyway, got off the subject. And the idea that you can see eye to eye with the British system. I mean, I was saying that if there's a British series called Yes Minister. Well, that's one series, and then there is a second series called Yes Prime Minister. Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister. Two series, great works. Great works. If you want to, if you like something like the House of Cards that Mr. Spacey produced, go watch Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister. It's doesn't have the grunge, has the comedy, but nevertheless very entertaining. So unfortunately, I don't like revolutions. I'm a child of revolutions, and I really don't like revolutions. It's a shit show. But in order to, as I was saying, that the depravity in the politics starts as it extends over time. Then, because if it has created stable conditions, depravity starts moving into other businesses, such as entertainment, such as finance, such as real estate, such as in general commerce. Depravity starts sneaking in other, if there is this long stability, continuous stability, just because again it's built into the system. If the boss likes it rough, if you are willing to do it rough with the boss, then you get one step ahead. Those who are not willing to do any kind of business, they fall two steps back. Eventually they have to, continue doing waitering instead of being a star. It's a skin. The difference between acting abilities of a waiter and an actor is not that much, especially with regards to women. Whether they're waiting on you or whether they're acting, you can't tell the difference. Just like, they get very good at acting. They're halfway there. They put the mascara on, they're halfway through their acting. As I understand, actors wear improve their appearances with pigments. So women improve their appearances with pigments all their life. Try to improve their appearances with pigments all their life. So they're halfway into acting continuously all their life. So it's not that hard. Acting is not that hard. The ones that are really good at it, they stand out. But any old lady can act young for you. And I mean any. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Mr. Spacey, people involved with Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister didn't get punished as much as you expect them to get punished, because the British do have a sense of humor and are, under the deprived monarchy, at least the politicians have been trying to be less deprived. You don't see a father and son duo yet in the British parliamentary system. But I mean, although I love the Mr. Ron Paul and Rand Paul, although I love them, but does it ring of a dynasty to you? It does, because it is, and that's that's when every state starts having a dynasty or two or three or four, and then these dynasties go in and out of favor, and then the leader of one dynasty, in from New York, Mr. Trump goes into power and picks the leader of another dynasty from Texas, Mr. What was his name? Who basically was in the oil. He was an oil man. He was given an energy ministry in the great empire, but the gentleman didn't wasn't really into, apparently, energy in Uncle Sam's empire means nuclear energy. And apparently Mr. John Wayne, did I say John Wayne? It was something around a different dynasty. But the gentleman from Texas was in oil, and he was put in charge because it's the important that he's from the Rex dynasty. Rex Rex Tillerson, from the Tillerson dynasty, or from the Bush dynasty, or from the Beck dynasty, and this gets handed down for too long. When order is kept, apparently all over your planet, more than 300-400 years of order, continuous order, these dynasties start forming in your entertainment business, in your finance business. These dynasties start forming in your political system, and in your everywhere becomes a dynasty. In your candy business, Mars is a dynasty. In your candy business, you have a fucking dynasty. I think that's. I mean, who's going to compete with Mars? I mean, who? It's a distribution system, production, vast distribution, oversupply, price control, because you own the whole fucking rack. If you hold the whole fucking rack in a gas station, you have price control, control over price, because you own the whole fucking rack, and you have bought or bankrupted the competition. Who are they going to replace you with? It's a dynasty. Dynasty in politics, dynasty in entertainment, dynasty in finance, dynasty in potato business and candy business. When these dynasties starts forming, watch out. Depravity will seek in, because that's always the result of dynasties. When you blow hot air up humans' asses for no good reason, they start thinking a little more of themselves than they should. And that never ends well. That becomes deprived when you see yourself as above and beyond everybody else. That's when the deprived. Then when you see yourself human and others as less than human, and that's when blood spills and arms manufacturers are having a. I just read that there's a great round of fundings for a brand new arms manufacturer in California. There was a brand new funding round of funding for a right out of the bag brand new arms manufacturer. Depravity has got bad. Why there is so much money? It's nothing superstitious about it. There's see a market. You see, there's nothing suspicious about it. Why suddenly there's so much money available for arms manufacturing? Nothing suspicious, nothing, celestial about it. They see that there is money in it, so they put money in it to get profits. That's nothing suspicious. Why there is money in it, that's suspicious. Why the theme of war is being pushed, that's suspicious. Why there is money in it, that's suspicious. Not the people who put the money in it. The people who put the money in it is capitalism. They want to follow the money. If they see that the politicians are putting so much funds into this arms business, so a lot of people are motivated that, oh, let me put money in that business because apparently the customer is waiting. I'm sorry. Uncle Sam's managers, my friends, Uncle Sam doesn't need an empire. Uncle Sam can work, can be an empire on its own. It can be a great country on its own. It's the British who need an empire. It's because they have absolutely nothing on their own. It's the French who need an empire because they have harvested everything, every last drop of coal and oil or whatever else that their land can produce. So they like to go hunt in Africa for a colony or two. Uncle Sam doesn't need colonies. Doesn't need to hunt in Africa and Asia for a colony. I'm not sure why the Imperial Handbook of the British is being adapted in North America. It's the British. They have nothing. They have to go colonialism. The Australians have enough. The North Americans have enough. Neither of these have to do colonialism. Only the British really have to do colonialism, and the French have to really, because they run out of things that they can add productivity to. They ran out of raw materials. They are extracting the raw materials at breakneck speed, and they have run out of it. So in order to become richer, they need to go start hunting in Africa and Asia and South America. The British certainly, both figuratively and really, they go hunt for Africans in Africa to try to somehow bring some kind of wealth back to their shitty, poor little island. But why do Uncle Sam's managers need to be involved in a depraved game of colonialism? You have all the riches you want. Why Kevin Spacey gets blamed for bringing some of the depravity onto screen, instead of curing the depravity and shaming the deprived people, you put Kevin Spacey out of work. Thank you very much. Again, whether he's guilty of sins in the past or not, I don't know. Nobody knows. Some people may know, but I don't know. But why do baggages have to come out as soon as he's trying to show some of the depravity in Washington to us? I'm sure if he had made an equivalent to Wall Street and glorified Washington DC, I'm sure he would have been, recipients of many Oscars and Emmys, and he would be rolling along in whatever kind of sexual pleasure he would ever want. But I guess he's not. They killed his character because he didn't make the Wall Street for Washington. I'm sorry. I'm a child of a revolution. I don't like revolution, but the fucking system, this human brain that you folks have, keeps ending with the system becoming more deprived as it ages. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years old, as it ages, apparently it needs like the iceberg. Like an iceberg, once in a while the iceberg rotates because it always melts at the top a lot faster than it melts at the bottom. So every once in a while the iceberg has to rotate because the top has become too deprived, too salacious, too grungy, too rickety, not moving. I mean, you want to look for a better metaphor than not moving. You can't miss when you think of the silent filibuster. It's sort of like, it's a filibuster. I'm threatening a filibuster, but because my health is not good, you should back down because you don't want to put an old man on his feet for 24 hours. Then you don't need to filibuster. Maybe we need fresh blood. If you only threaten a filibuster and it's considered as a filibuster, then maybe it's too old. You shouldn't be there. Maybe you're too old. Maybe the morality in the society has changed. The issues have changed. So maybe if you can't do a real filibuster, maybe you either should shut up or give your seat to a younger man who may or may not filibuster what you wanted to filibuster. Maybe the young man is actually for that thing that you wanted to filibuster. But by saying that if I cannot stand to do a filibuster because of my old age, you should you should take my threat of a filibuster as a veto. So 100 senators have 100 vetoes. And you don't consider this as a rusted ball bearing? You don't see this as a rusted ball bearing that cannot move? Literally, like its occupants, the Senate, the House, like its occupants, literally the system can't move. Just like its occupants. Barely move. Shuffle 1 feet after the another. They're still living in a Cold War with a Cold War mentality of it's us against them and it's the Ruskies. We gotta go fuck them or they fuck us. If you don't talk at United Nations, if you don't talk to people, if you blow up the people that you're supposed to be talking to, of course you're going to have conflict constantly all over your planet. You don't give the natives the right to participate in their own governance, as the case is in Iraq, as the case is in Palestine, as the case is in Jordan. You accept all these monarchies. Are you fucking kidding me? Democracies accept monarchies just because they're friendly. So you're also not democracy. You're also dynasty. I mean, from from George Bush Senior to W, one was holding the hand of the older monarch of Saudi Arabia at one point, and the son, the other one was handing the son, the one of the nephews or whatever, whoever they chosen there as the replacement for the monarch. The monarch has chosen his replacement. Bush chose his son and his replacement. Can be more clear that you're not a democracy, you're a dynasty. That's where depravity starts. Because when people start blowing hot air up people's asses just because their last name is such and such. I think Mr. Kevin Spacey is a great talent, and his past is an average past in Hollywood. I don't think maybe if there is no legal issues, she should not be bothered. I think even a House of Cards 2 would be a great middle finger to people who try to break Kevin Spacey because of a few baggage that he has had or has not in his past. I think House of Cards 2 would be a great middle finger to those who try to drive him out of town.